Hello, I'm Rico Cavella. Welcome to this episode of Fearless Aging. And I really like the title of this episode, and I think this is going to be a really important one. You're going to like it. The title is How Not to Drop Dead. Yeah, all right. So we're going to get right into it, but first, a short message from one of our great sponsors.
Stop forcing down those massive pills that end up in your toilet, not in your bloodstream. Hello, I'm Rico Cavella. For the very first time in my 43 years as a personal trainer and wellness coach, I am endorsing and recommending a unique line of nutritional supplements. Superior Source produces an exclusive line of microlingual tablets that dissolve instantly under your tongue. I have a hard time swallowing large tablets and capsules, but these tiny tablets are the easiest to take I have ever found. These products are clinically tested for purity, potency, and have the highest rate of absorption. Microlingual tablets are ideal for those with digestive challenges and for infants and children, as there are no pills to swallow. They offer a full line of key nutritional supplements, including many for children. So why give these supplements a try? They're easy to take, highly absorbable, and inexpensive. Join thousands who have ditched their pills. One tablet under your tongue will make you a believer.
All right, how not to drop dead. Here we go. Hello, I'm Rico Cavella. Welcome to this episode of Fearless Aging. And this is really an interesting one. The title of today's episode is How Not to Drop Dead. So I hope you're as interested and excited as I am about this interview. We have a great expert guest. His name is Dr. Joel Kahn. He's an MD, FACC of Detroit, Michigan. He's a practicing cardiologist and a clinical professor of medicine at Wayne State University. He is known as America's Healthy Heart Doc. Dr. Kahn is triple board certified in internal medicine, and cardiovascular medicine and interventional cardiology. He was the first physician in the world to be certified in metabolic cardiology. And he founded the Kahn Center for Cardiac Longevity in Bingham Farms, Michigan. So Dr. Joel, thanks so much for being here.
Well, thank you. We got a lot to talk about so that nobody drops dead.
I like that so much. Yeah. Well, first of all, let's just start out with the very first question. You say that the greatest threat to longevity is dying of a preventable but unknown disease, and that would be?
Yeah, heart disease would be the first one on the list. And the facts are that in the United States alone, 1,000 people a day drop dead suddenly.
Wow.
Some of them know they have heart disease. They've had a heart attack or a bypass. Many of them have no clue that they're walking around, maybe even playing pickleball and going to the gym with advanced heart disease. It's a very tricky disease. I've been caring for patients for almost 40 years. And the typical patient that I diagnose advanced heart disease has no symptoms that are warning them to get, quick medical care. And unfortunately, by the time you really have serious heart disease, it's 20 years. We could have picked it up earlier. So you do not want to be working on your longevity program and focusing on all the wonderful things we're learning about in the anti-aging world and suddenly have a tragic end to your life by a completely preventable disease called hardening of the arteries or atherosclerosis. Don't drop dead.
That's really good news to hear. I know it's preventable. Would you say are those 1,000 people, is it pretty much equal men and women?
Yes, it is men and women. Men are a little more prone to drop dead and not be revived. Doctor, what about CPR? Well, about 90% of people that do drop, called a cardiac arrest, cannot be resuscitated at home or in the hospital even. The statistics are not better in the hospital. So we have to prevent. And at 1,000 people a day, we've got a lot of work to do, and we should have a real fire in us. But the medical system isn't responding. But the people that are watching, listening, viewing this can set out a program to know in a more advanced, but not very expensive or dangerous manner exactly what's going on. You should know in exquisite detail, like you have on your website, very impressive, 79 years old with a biologic age of 35. I want your listeners to know what is their vascular age, what is their artery age. Are they 79 with arteries of a 50-year-old? That's great. But are you 50 with arteries of a 79-year-old? You have to have testing to know that. You can't just base it on I feel okay, because it could be one day away from a tragedy.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, why do people? I mean, why are there no symptoms in a lot of people, and still they just dropped in?
Yeah, the nervous system to the heart can provide some clues. There's a classic symptom called angina pain. Doc, I was walking up the hill quickly into the wind and I got pressure, tightness, squeezing. I was gardening and moving the wheelbarrow and I couldn't catch my breath and I felt uncomfortable. Never, ever ignore that. But by the time that symptom reflects poor blood flow to the heart, there's been decades of disease and it's very advanced. We cannot wait for symptoms. And many people that do drop dead suddenly had no symptoms until the moment that their life was threatened or actually ended. So our nervous system, the heart, is imperfect at giving us warning signs. And it can also be challenging. A lot of people think they're having heartburn. They're burping, they're having gas. Oh, I shouldn't have had that meal before my pickleball game. Well, it may not be gas. It may be the word heartburn suggests it can be tricky to sort out the origin of these symptoms. Never depend on the statement, I feel fine, to assume that your artery age is young. You have to test. You have to look.
So the best way to find out if you are at risk is to get tested. So talk about what are the basic tests that everybody should go and
yeah. If out of this interview nothing happens except one thing, everybody listening writes down what I'm about to say and then pursues getting it. But if you just pause for a minute and say, I've had a mammogram, I've had a colonoscopy or a Cologuard poop test, I've had a pap smear if you're a woman or a PSA if you're a man, I've never had a heart aging test. There's a deficiency in our medical system that we don't approach screening for heart disease like we approach screening for cancer, even though more people die of heart disease every year in the United States than every cancer combined. And there is, if nothing else, a CT scan. I'm talking to the person listening right now, never had a heart attack, never had a bypass, never had a stent, doesn't really think they have any heart disease. There's a CT scan that will cost about $100, maybe $150. You lie down, you go in a machine, and you go home. No needle, no injection, no exercise, no claustrophobia, no pain. That test is called a heart calcium CT scan. You can have it if you've got kidney problems. You can have it if you have allergies. It doesn't matter. There's nothing injected in your body. And if your heart calcium CT scan comes back 0, you have very young arteries. And you can look at the next 10 years as being very low risk for don't drop dead problems or heart attack problems and the rest. But in my clinic, and this has been the same story for over 30 years, people show up all the time that have never had a symptom, but they finally got the message to go get this test at their local hospital or a local CT scanner location. And it comes back, dramatically abnormal. They have old arteries. There actually is a way to calculate it and tell them you're 50 years old and your arteries are like a 79-year-old. And we have got to put together a program to stop the process, understand why it's there, and try and reverse it. Very few people will need bypass or stents. But if you know you have the problem and simple things like getting on a baby aspirin or getting on certain medications, vitamins, diet, fitness, we can dramatically lower the risk that a person with this problem, with this disease, is at risk for being one of these 1,000 people a day. We can't have good people dying of a preventable and reversible disease, which is what heart disease is, preventable and reversible.
Well, that's so good. Okay, well, before we get into some of the ways that you work with your patients and some of the most important things that we can tell our audience what they need to begin to do right now, what again exactly, if you go to your doctor and you ask them, say, I want a heart CT scan, is that what you say?
Just include one more word, the word calcium. Heart calcium
Calcium.
CT scan.
See, I'm writing that down because I haven't done that, so I should do that. Heart calcium CT scan. All right, I'm going to do it. I recommend our audience do that as well. So thank you for that. So
Good.
talk a little bit about when someone comes to you or and they know they do have some, the tests don't show up good, or they're having some problems. What are the first things that you do with your patients?
Well, even in the era of AI, we still go back to basics.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of eye contact, a lot of personal attention, a very thorough history on any previous testing, previous visits to the emergency room, mother, father, sister, brother, grandparents, diet, dental health. I just got off a call with a woman in Toronto who has psoriasis with arthritis from her psoriasis. That's a heart risk factor. Not everybody knows that, but it is. That puts her at more risk, and her next step is going to be getting the CT scan I just talked about. Then we're going to perform a physical exam, unless it's one of the patients I'm dealing with by telemedicine. And of course, I can't put a stethoscope through the computer yet. We will be able to do that. And then we're going to get very extensive, I didn't say expensive, extensive lab tests. And we're going to try and use their health insurance appropriately to get that done. And then we'll have to decide. An electrocardiogram is still an important test. Some people a stress test, but most of it are these CT scans. The CT scan for heart disease, it's basically being called the body's mammogram, the heart's colonoscopy. We have the ability to learn everything in detail by simple outpatient CT scanning and identify people at risk who might drop dead, and then develop a program so that they can enjoy their life and pursue, like you do, trying to be at peak fitness, peak performance, be around for grandchildren and the rest, all the good parts of life.
Yeah, that's good news. In your bio, we put that you were certified in metabolic cardiology. What exactly is that?
It's studying in extra detail the method by which the heart generates energy, by the ways in which we control our blood pressure and all. So I had a woman yesterday, new patient in Detroit, came to see me. She has 3 other cardiologists at the university and other places, but she has a very weak heart. And it's not due to a previous heart attack. So she's at risk for congestive heart failure. And I put together a program understanding the metabolism of the heart. How does the heart make energy? And how can we help the heart make more energy without prescription drugs? And that's metabolic cardiology, trying to use mechanisms within the body that aren't necessarily more and more prescription medications. So it may be vitamins, it may be diet changes, maybe things like hyperbaric oxygen and red light therapy, which sounds sort of new age, but have a lot of scientific support.
Yeah. So you really take a holistic approach. I'm really supportive of that. Yeah, thank you for doing that. That's what really people need to know. Okay, so first I want to let people know that, and we'll put this link how you can get a copy of your book. Dr. Kahn has a book called "Dead Executives Don't Get Bonuses." So it's
Right.
the same kind of thing. You don't want to drop dead, especially if you're a successful person. So we'll put a link in the short description of where you can get a copy of his book.
Thank you.
Don't get bonuses. And I know you have a great gift. I looked on your website. So when you go to your website, you have a consumer's awareness guide on your website. I thought that was really valuable. So we'll definitely, put your website address. So I highly encourage people to go to Dr. Kahn's website and check out his Consumers Awareness Guide. Again, it's all about being aware, right? It's all about awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some really interesting statistics. If you look at where do we get our information, could be TV, could be newspaper, could be internet sites. And the last analysis I saw 2 years ago was even though about a third of all people in America, between a quarter and a third, will die of heart disease, the frequency with which this is discussed in the media, where most people get their news, is only about 2% of the time is heart disease a topic on national channels. And much more common is cancer, which is fine. We need to educate the public. But it's homicide, it's suicide, it's auto accidents, it's terrorism. That's what the media likes to report on.
Yeah.
So people aren't hearing what we've just covered in a relatively short time. I call it on my social media, test, not guess. The testing is not dangerous. The testing is not expensive. The testing is available all over the United States and Canada and other places. You simply have to have a doctor that agrees that you don't want to be at risk of dropping dead or having unnecessary heart attacks. Go through the testing and then get with somebody who has a program to reverse the disease that's found if you have disease. Heart disease, I said it, is a reversible condition.
Yeah, that's so good. Thank you so much for that. So again, I highly encourage our audience to get that heart calcium CT scan. I know I'm going to go do that. And also to get a copy of his book, Good Executives Don't Get Bonuses, and go to your Dr. Kahn's website. And so in just a few minutes we have left, Dr. Kahn, tell our audience, what would you say would be just for people who want to get started right now and do something that they can do immediately to start reversing any buildup of, like plaque or any kind of a problem that they may be having in their heart? What would you say the top 3 things that they should begin to do?
Well, there's been a lot of change and reevaluation over the years. So what most people haven't heard is the data overwhelming that actually sleep quality, sleep duration, without pathology, may be the most important step you can start working on today. If you're in bed for 5 hours at night, you can't get 7 hours of sleep unless you're falling asleep at the steering wheel or something. Generally a 7 to 8 hour consistent sleep schedule, 10 o'clock to 6 a.m., for example, actually is a tremendous heart prevention step. And many, many people get nowhere near that amount of sleep. It's restorative, it's reparative, it helps with blood pressure, helps with weight, helps with blood sugar. And you want to do it without prescription sleeping pills, if at all possible. The second thing has to be nutrition. You do not have to necessarily sign a statement, I will never eat an animal food. If you do that, that's fine with me. That's the diet I choose. But I will eat more than 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. That has to be on your daily list. That could be one giant salad that happens to have, beans and peas and tofu and nuts and seeds and balsamic, but you want to eat fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. And if you can tolerate it, all the variety of beans out there. These are proven pathways to naturally lower inflammation, lower blood sugar, help your weight struggle, and actually start to reverse any heart disease that might be present. And the third is what I'm doing right now. I'm standing, not sitting. I'm moving between patients. I'm moving at lunch break. Try and work out every morning, even if I only have 20 minutes. I know you're a fitness buff. Not a workout has to be with a trainer at the gym for 90 minutes. Little what we call exercise snacks, 3 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes, do a lot for your health. And sitting all day long is the opposite of doing something good for your health.
Yeah, you want to get up and keep moving. That's exactly what I say. You don't have it's good to have a formal exercise program, but really the most important thing is just keep moving throughout your day. I think that's one of the big reasons, the people in the blue zones who live so long and stay pretty healthy, because they're out working and moving all the time, right?
They're naturally moving, naturally active, socially connected, and
Yeah,
they've got a purpose in life.
exactly. Well, we're really on the same page. I really appreciate your work and what you're offering. And so again, I just encourage our audience to take heed with this. So always my last question for all my guests is, I love Einstein saying that knowledge without action is useless, right? So could you say? Well, you already kind of say it if you don't want to drop dead, but what can you say to motivate people to actually step up and take action and go get that scan?
Yeah, you really do want to make it a priority and ask yourself, how better will my life be in 10 years if I can focus on health and energy and vitality and not be interrupted by a cardiac crisis, even a cardiac death, a dependency on lots of medications? Figure out what your greatest joy is and protect that by getting your heart checked. Do not assume that you're okay. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to tell you I see people every day for 37 years that look nice on the outside, but we've got to check the inside. And very often we're disappointed that there is disease present, but we have a deep toolbox about what to do for it.
Very good. Well, thanks so much for that message, and thanks for being here. Thanks for your work, and thanks to our audience as well.
Well, thanks for all you do. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that. How not to drop dead. That's a pretty important one. All right. I got another short message from one of our great sponsors, and we'll be back and close the show.
Perfect world, we would all be happy, healthy, and successful. But stress, family, genetics, and life's little surprises take their toll on our brains, our bodies, and our psyche. And our quality of life suffers because we're not functioning at our best. Well, you can start by training your brain with the quantum mind method. This is not a game, and it's not a toy. It's developed by the world's only brainwave entrainment engineer, backed by over 40 years of research and development. It's 100% natural and couldn't be easier to use. With regular listening, your brain will naturally become stronger, more efficient, your most reliable ally, and all with almost no effort. You can achieve anything you want and get the most out of your life with the quantum mind method. The world is yours, so take it. Take it now.
All right. We're back, and we're going to close the show out with our resident naturopathic doctor, Dr. Jonathan Glass, with his tip for this week.
Hey, it's Jonathan Glass, acupuncturist, Ayurvedic practitioner, classical naturopath. Another great tip to kind of chill out and let go is stimulating a very, very powerful acupuncture point. It's called Hoku. It is right in the valley of these two bones here in the soft tissue there, between the thumb and the the pointer finger. And you just find that spot. Most people will be a little tender there, and you massage that point, you take a few breaths. It is the most powerful point on the large intestine channel. And you just massage that point, take a few breaths, and you will see that you just have a sense of relaxing and letting go very quickly. So whether it's in the middle of the day or before bed, it is the let go point. And we all need to let go sometimes. Now, in Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, it's understood that the organs themselves, like the large intestine, they all have not just physical capacity, but mental, emotional, and even spiritual capacity. So when you stimulate that point, yes, you'll stimulate the large intestine, but you'll also stimulate the mind's ability to let go. We all have to digest, we all have to let go. Stimulating that point helps us chill out, helps us let go, and helps us move on to the next thing in life. A great thing to do before sleep, a great thing when you're feeling like you're holding on to something, and just have the mindset let go. It's a very, very powerful point. All right, do it for about 20, 30 seconds and move on with your day or your sleep. All right, have a great day.
All right. Well, we still have 1 minute left. So again, I just want to assure you that our sponsors, our sublingual micro nutritional tablets, are really a great product. I think you should give them a try. And our sponsor for Mind Trainer Pro, it's very inexpensive. You just have these audios that you can listen to that's going to help to improve the function of your brain. So these are really important products that I know that are something that you can trust, that you're going to get some good benefits. So I highly recommend that you give them a try. And as always, I'm here available for you. You can book a free call with me on my website, agelesslivinglifestyle.com, and we can discuss whatever health or aging challenges you may be having, and I'll give you some quick and easy solutions. So thanks very much for being here, and tell your friends about the Fearless Aging TV show. Go out and make it a better world for everybody. Thanks for being here.